This is Othercide, which is probably the gothiest game I have ever played in my life, but in a very good way. For a 90s kid, this feels like it is just right up my sort of emotional alley from when I was a teenager. I wasn't really a goth, but I had maybe some goth sympathies. It's a turn-based tactical roguelike, like, all games these days. And it's distinct from all the other games that I play in a lot of, interesting ways. I'll show you what I mean once we get into it.
Cut deeper. Deeper still. The answer hides, buried in the flesh. Life unworthy of life feeds our inquiry. What we do is a mercy to the world. A mercy.
So that's a villain. Okay,
Will
so
you remember now?
So to give you a little bit of background about the story of this game, it's incomprehensible. I have no idea what it's about. It's there is a real world and some kind of mysterious, scary, unreal world that are separated by a veil. I'm playing Mother, the red mother, that little the red person down there. That's me. My job is to stop the veil from shattering and stop these monsters from coming into the real world and, I don't know, wreaking whatever havoc they wreak. But I think I was originally defeated by them the first time I tried. And so now I'm doing some kind of maybe time-bending thing where I'm spawning daughters, which are like lesser versions, like almost like lesser clones of me, who can fight for me and try to defeat these villains. So this is my very first run. I've just gotten to the point where I've unlocked a boss battle, but I actually get to decide when I'm ready to engage in the boss battle. If I'm really confident, then I could just jump right in at the first opportunity, or I could spend some time leveling up my characters. Let's have a look at the characters real quick before we get into the gameplay. So you see, these are my daughters. They all look just like me, but with different hairstyles. There are 3 different classes of daughters. There's Blade Masters, which are kind of glass cannons. They have, powerful melee attacks, but they're very vulnerable. We've got Shield Bearers, who are, tanks, basically. And then we've got Soul Slingers, who are our ranged class. And so you get this resource up here called, I forget what it's called, but whenever you have 200 of it, you can germinate a new daughter. And so you keep basically adding daughters to your roster and leveling them up. But then whenever a daughter dies, you lose her forever. I think there's ways to resurrect them eventually, but I probably haven't unlocked them yet. Or if you've got a daughter who's in bad shape, you can sacrifice one of your daughters in order to heal a different daughter, which is just like gross. but whatever. I've never been tempted to do that with actual daughters. And you got a bunch of lore. You got a bunch of these are power ups that you sort of build up the ability to unlock over time as you play multiple runs. So this game is definitely designed to be played in multiple runs. Like, you go as far as you can, you die, and that gives you upgrades that let you that give you an advantage the next time around. So it's that style of roguelite where you're it's kind of like Rogue Legacy, where you're steadily building up power ups that make you more and more capable of winning the deeper you get into the game. So I haven't lost any daughters yet, though I wouldn't be surprised if Constance goes somewhere, because the only way to heal anyone in this game is to sacrifice somebody. Like, typically a character, if you let them lose health, they'll just keep losing health until they're gone. So that's the daughters. That's where you level them up, stuff like that. But we should get into a fight here. So there's 2 fights available. One is hard. The other one's impossible. Let's try the hard one first. Okay, so I get to choose 3 daughters to send in. Usually when I'm trying to level up a roster, I'll send at least one level 1 character in, and then support her with some more powerful characters. Like Prudence here is a pretty successful soul slinger, and then I'll want to have Sincere, the Blade Master. Though, actually, maybe I should bring Constance in, because this is going to be the easier fight, and so Constance is more likely to survive this fight. I can only use each of my daughters once per fight. Well, basically, there's these 2 fights that I need to do at this particular stage of the game, and so I've got 6 daughters, 3 per fight. The 3 daughters that I use for this fight, I can't use in the next fight, and vice versa. So I think this is probably the smartest roster to bring with me. So let's get into the game. So far, I've always brought all 3 classes, mostly just because I'm trying to learn what they all do. It may be that in the future...
Sacrifice before the end.
It may be in the future I'll want to min-max and, like, you know, in particular fights, you know, have 2 soul slingers or 2 shield bearers.
What forces they arrayed against an innocent?
Okay. So this is a turn-based tactical game. You know, it's reminiscent of games like XCOM and stuff like that. It doesn't have a cover system like XCOM. What it has is a turn order that you have to worry about. And it's actually a little bit more like XCOM Chimera Squad, where you're constantly worrying about what order people's actions are going to be taken in. So it looks like right now I'm going to get to move each of my 3 characters, and then all of the enemies are going to go before the next time one of my characters can move. So each time you play through a turn with one of your characters, they jump to 50, or you can overextend them and they jump to 100. So for now, I'm going to try to be a little bit conservative here. So, all right, so these 2 characters move at 46 and 48. Where are the others? Okay, these guys are far away. I probably don't have to worry too much about them first turn. So these guys, they're fast, though. So they're going to catch up pretty close to me in their first turn. And then, who's this? Okay, oh, that person's way far away. So you'll notice there are 5 enemies out on the board, but it says 9 enemies remaining. So 4 more are going to spawn in over the course of the game. And actually, let me move to the bottom right here, because I think that's where I'm going to block the least UI. All right, so one thing you'll notice, the numbers in this game are all huge. So you remember, like in XCOM, you basically get 2 moves, and your characters start with like 4 or 5 health. And all the numbers are just very small, all the chunks are big. This is the opposite of that. Your characters have hundreds of health. They have 100 action points, and then you're spending it in very granular amounts. So let's see here. So what we want to do is approach these enemies so that we can fight them soon, but you can look at each of these enemies and see how far they can move. So they can't get very close to me. So the closest I want to get is like right here, so that an enemy can't hit me. So to the left of this thing. All right. So my shield bearer can move here, but oh wait. Who am I moving first? Oh, I thought it was my shield bearer, but no, I'm on Prudence. So Prudence was my, what is she, a blade person? No, she's my soul slinger. Okay, so what I want to do with her is move her over here so she can shoot at these guys. But if she goes 48 action points, well, let's show what happens. So she moves over here. I've lost half of her action points. And so now if I do anything else, that's going to put her into the second half of her action points. And instead of dropping her turn order to 50, she'll drop it to 100. So I have to decide, is it worth it to me to take some shots at these guys? Or should I just pause right now? I think that because they can't get to her in a single turn, it's actually kind of worth it to me to take some shots. So I'm just going to do that right now. And I might be able to just completely eliminate this guy, which is great. So since I've gone into burst mode, which is basically overextending myself, there's no like she's already dropped back to like 99. There's no reason I shouldn't spend the rest of these action points. Otherwise, I'll just lose them. So I'm going to shoot again. But so this guy, since he's not going to get close enough to hurt me, I'm not as worried about making sure I kill him right away. Let's actually weaken this guy up. Oh, except he have a lot of hit points or just a lot of armor? Oh, he's got 62 armor, so each of those shots was reduced by a significant amount. I could have looked at that character and figured that out, that maybe small hits were a bad move against that guy. But whatever, I made the mistake. So, end turn with Prudence. So now the turn order moves, and we're with Constance. Constance is the one that I need to protect. So I'm going to put her within striking distance of like probably where enemies might be standing next turn, but I'm not going to do anything with her to put her in danger. And then Felicity, she's the one I'm going to have on the front line. So she's going to move up here. So both of these actions that she can take are instant actions. The characters can also queue up interrupt actions that enemies, like when an enemy satisfies a certain thing, like getting close enough to you or attacking one of your friends, you can react. You can set those up, but I don't have any of those for Felicity. And I'm not dead certain what the enemy's going to do. Each time you set up one of those special moves tend to cost you health instead of action points, and I don't want to risk that right now. So until I know I need to spend my character's health on actions, I'm not going to do it just randomly. Okay, so these guys can usually move a pretty long distance. And notice that they actually... Ooh, I forgot about this. These guys don't go back very far in the turn order. So that first guy is actually going to get to move again before Constance moves. Okay, and that guy just did a delayed action, which we'll look at in a second. So this guy gets to move again and attack Felicity. So that was a miscalculation on my part. Luckily, Felicity's got higher armor than the other characters, so she doesn't take as much damage from those small hits. So Rooney115 asks, what game is this? This is Othercide. It's a turn-based tactical roguelike, and it's pretty enchanting. It makes my little 90s goth heart flutter. So, okay, so we're Constance right now. So again, I'm really nervous about putting Constance in danger because her health is so low. So the question is, what are Constance's options here? She's got Imbued Blade, which does a huge amount of damage. The Imbued Blade is the kind of move you want to use against an armored guy like this. A lot of damage in one hit, because the armor, basically, it subtracts a certain amount from each individual hit. Then Lightning Strike, you can move and then do less damage to somebody. How much health do these guys have? 358? So I might be able to take out one of these guys in one hit. But this guy, his next turn, he's not going to... You see on the turn order, he's 75. So all my characters can get to move again before he attacks, before he can move again. So maybe it would be fine to get Constance close to him. And what about this guy? This guy I can probably take out with my Soul Slinger, so I don't need to worry as much. The fact that I have to commit to what Constance does right now is kind of tough, because Constance is my most vulnerable character, and it makes me worry. But, okay, so let's try Lightning Strike. So that'll cost 30 action points, leaving me with only 20 to use, which maybe I can use to flee if I feel like I'm in a precarious situation.
You can't stop progress. The cure will be found.
Okay, so she did kill him in one hit. So usually they'll tell you the maximum damage you can do, but sometimes you'll do less than that amount. So I wasn't sure if she was going to be able to do enough damage to take him out, but she did. So now she's going to be... So there are only two people who are going to move before she moves next. This guy is going to move before her, because you can see where she's at 50 here, where her next turn is going to be at 50. This guy's going to move, but I think Felicity's going to take this guy out. And this guy... Wait, not that guy. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about this guy. So you'll notice this guy, you see him lighting up at 53, but he's also lighting up at 33. He's got this action that he's going to take that's going to happen at the 33 marker. And so luckily, all of my characters are going to move before then, and we have a chance to take him out before he launches that attack on us. So managing this timeline is like the central part of this game. So I think Constance is actually doing okay. This character can't get close enough either. So yeah, I'm going to leave Constance where she is. Because if she does any of these moves, it's going to put her below the burst limit, and she's going to move way back. You see, you can't even actually... You know what? I'm gonna move myself back up to the upper right so that you can see the entire timeline. If I do any of these actions, you see how Constance moves all the way to the end of the timeline. So I don't want to do that, because then everyone acts before her. So I'm going to leave her where she is. Hit end turn. So now Felicity takes over. So Felicity has two jobs. Number one, attack that guy. Number two, make sure that no one kills Constance. So let's see here. Okay, so she can slam someone to delay their action, but I don't think that's necessary. So I think I'm gonna move her. I'm gonna move her here, so that Constance is unlikely to get hit by somebody, and then I'm gonna lunge at this guy. And it only took 2 of the 3 attacks to kill him. So Felicity's good. She's almost done with her action points, so I'm going to end her turn. And now it's Prudence. Remember, Prudence, the other girls all got to move before Prudence because Prudence was delayed all the way to 100 last time because she went into burst mode. So now, we've got a few options here. We got Shadow Round, which basically, for 5% of her hit points, she can just be ready to shoot anybody who attacks any of her friends. Which I don't think anyone's about to get attacked anytime soon. Well, actually, this guy could attack somebody, but I don't want to wait till after he does it. Oh, no, wait, no, this isn't someone who attacks, it's someone who gets attacked. Okay, so she could basically be a turret that sits there and shoots at anybody that my guys attack, which sounds great, but it's not what I need right now. This one, that's right, will interrupt the first attack on an ally. So I could respond to the fact that this guy's about to attack someone by setting up this interruption where she'll shoot him if he shoots somebody else. But that costs 10% of my health, and it's unnecessary, because my normal shot, I think, is enough to just take him out. So we'll do that.
One less to plague the innocent.
And then she can do another shot, so she will, even though that's going to be minimally effective against that guy. All right. So Wolfo says the art style for this game is really interesting, and he feels like he might want to look into playing it. Yeah, so it's the way you have to think about this game is very different from a lot of the other turn-based tactical games that I played recently. Like I said, I think it is actually kind of closest to Chimera Squad because of the way you're managing the turn order, but it's still really different from Chimera Squad too. And so it's definitely, if you're looking for like a really novel experience in this genre, this is a good option. Okay, so now Prudence is down to 50. Don't want to go any further, so let's end her turn. So now Constance is here. So both Constance and Felicity get to move. Felicity can reach this guy. Constance can also reach this guy. And they're both still safe from this guy. But, but here's something. We've got enemies that are going to rise from their graves right after Constance and Felicity move. And so that actually puts Prudence in some danger, because these people, I don't know who they are, but they might be able to reach Prudence. So hopefully Prudence is going to be fine. I think it's still a priority to try to take this guy out, so especially to get Constance away from these spawners. So Constance, why don't you head over here, and then Imbued Blade. Okay, if I use Imbued Blade, okay, so that's a delayed move. And will it actually... Oh, wait. If I use Imbued Blade, it's a delayed move, and it'll happen after... This guy's at 25. Imbued Blade delays 30. So he'll get to move before Constance does. So that's not what I want to use. What about Lightning Strike? That's dashing and doing 388. What about Slash? Okay, Slash is the big attack, which can overcome... His armor is 62, so it doesn't make nearly as much a difference against a big attack like this. So let's... That puts Constance into burst. And she's flanking him because he was facing the other way. And I think that's all she can really do, except I think I'm going to move her back because she's in burst mode and her turn is going to be severely delayed. I want to make sure that Felicity can be between her and the other enemy, because the other enemy might actually be able to get to her in 2 turns. So now we'll backspace. And it's Felicity's turn. So, okay, so Felicity, think you can finish this guy off? Let's put her here. And then... Ooh, she just barely goes into burst. You know what? I think if I had moved her here instead of here, she would have enough act. I should have been doing the math. If you do the math, you can plan exactly how far to move somebody in order to be able to fit their stuff in. So, she's probably... Yeah. So I might have just exposed her to some danger, because this character might get to act twice and catch up with her before she gets to move again. But I might as well just back her up a little bit. Actually, well, now I feel like I do need to leave her here to protect Constance in case this person can get there in time. Because I was about to say, I could start moving her up here to be able to deal with these folks. But no, I think I'm going to leave her where she is.
Producers of
Oh yeah, the
broken
fast
souls.
guys. Oh good, they're ignoring Prudence. At least that one is. Okay. Sweet. This guy moves. Okay, so Prudence. I think a regular shot is... might actually be enough to take these guys out. Let's see. Nope, not quite. All right. Well, let's... I'll shoot both of them, and then, just because I haven't done it before, let's do an intercepting round. She'll lose 10% of her hit points, but if these guys attack any of her friends, she'll stop them. So, I think we just click on her to trigger it? Yeah. So she slashes herself, and we'll see if this ends up being worthwhile. I'm mostly doing it just to learn how the mechanic works, not because I think it's the cleverest thing to do right now. Probably the clever thing to do would have been completely kill one of these characters, but let's see what happens. So he tries to attack, but she interrupts
Striking.
and takes him out. Now, is it only once?
The day
Yes, it's only once.
His power is stronger.
So the amount of damage that he did attacking her, I think might have been less than the amount of damage she paid to stop the other attack. So that probably was not a very economical way to do this. So now I'm Prudence again because Constance and Felicity both delayed themselves so much. So this guy is going to move again, and then these guys are going to spawn, and then it's the other girl's turn. So let's see. So I probably want to retreat a little bit with her. Oh wait, if she moves that far, she can't shoot. Let's go just far enough that she can still shoot. Go over here, and then let's shoot this guy.
I revel in her strength.
Ah, she backstabbed him, shooting him from behind. Okay, so notice she's at 51, so she still gets to move at 50, which is nice. All right, so let's end her turn. So now we got these spawners. I don't know what these guys are going to be able to do. Okay, he's got his delayed shot. So he can do the same thing. He just ran away. I wonder what's up with that. All right, so Constance. She is here. So what is this guy like? 12, 17 health. These numbers are enormous compared to what I'm used to. You can't see the health because it's right there, but whatever. Okay, so he has short range attacks. He's 12, 17 health. What can Constance do? She can do 9, 18 after 30 units. This guy's going to move after 21. So her most powerful attack isn't going to be very good against him. So it feels like I just should not try to use her to attack this guy. But I don't think that Felicity has the wherewithal to take him out either. I think I might need both of them to attack him in order for him to go down before he has a chance to move. So I think, let's see here. So Constance, if you were to move right up next to him, that's 63 AP, which means she could still slash him and do a bunch of damage, and then Felicity could finish him off. So you know what? Let's do that. It's a risk because I'm not sure what I'm maybe forgetting that might not work. Oh well, here's a problem. That was not a nearly as large a percentage of his health as I was at back of my mind estimating. So that might have been a bad move. So let's move her away a little bit, and then hopefully this guy will engage with Felicity. Did this guy just lose armor? Okay, so Felicity might... she can't do enough damage to him. Ooh, we can delay him, though. We can delay him until after Prudence. That might work, actually. So let's... Yes, okay, so let's get close enough. Let's see here. Can we get there in less than 75? Yes. All right, and let's also make him face me over here. So they're both going into burst mode. So let's slam this guy. So that knocked him back in the initiative order. And then we've still got 30 action points left. So we can get him real close. All right, but that's knocking me way back in the turn order. So now it's Prudence's turn. So I think one shot at this guy. I mean, his armor is 60. How much damage does she do? 97. So it'll be 37 maximum 3 times. So that is enough to take him down if we're lucky. Can I get him in range? Let's see here. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles away. Let's see if she can get in range in only 25. So in 20 AP, she can get here. Can she hit him with shot? Not quite. Okay, so I think I just exceeded this, so... We took him out.
No
That's
mercy.
good. So what I think I'm going to do is just run her over here with what's left of my action points and hope that these guys are all out of range of these guys. Yeah, so it looks like once we left range, the guy who had a delayed action just lost his delayed action. Okay, so we all can move. Let's see. So these guys have guns. I feel like what I need to do is have them come to me. So let's just have Constance go here and end it. Let's have Felicity go here and have Prudence go here. And then, Constance, you can just stay right where you are. Felicity, we'll just move you one step over. So I'm pretty sure that being behind these obstacles means that they won't be able to shoot me until they've moved significantly. So this guy gonna get close enough that we can get him? Alright, that is what I was hoping for. So I can't shoot anyone right now because I'm behind that obstacle. But I scoot over here. There we go. I can't do that again, so I'm just going to move back again. End my turn. I really like being able to exploit the flexibility of this system. So Constance, I don't think we need Constance to get involved. So I'm gonna leave her closer, but I'm gonna let Felicity take this guy out.
A bitter victory.
All right. Let's see if this other guy gets close enough to hit. Oh, Prudence can go again. Nah. All right, come and get me. Ooh, can he? Okay, it looks like he didn't have enough action points to fire. Let's do a delayed action on this guy. Okay, so she's queuing up a delayed action. Honestly, her delayed action is probably enough to take him out. He's only got 415. So let's, let's just wait till that happens. So now Constance fires off her delayed action, which historically she hasn't been able to do because everyone was so fast. But that slow guy, it was perfect against. And we did it, and only lost 10% of one of our character's health and just took a few hits on the other character, but by and large, that was a
Come what
profitable
may,
mission.
We will slow suffering's progress.
Oh, and they all leveled up. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to prepare for this boss battle, and so I'm leveling up my characters like crazy.
Though the danger passes, we must prepare for the next.
So let's look at leveling up these characters. So Felicity has leveled up, so she's got a new skill unlocked. So I can either choose Blacksmith's Grace, which you cast on yourself and increases your armor and moves you up in initiative every time you're hit, which is kind of cool. Or Shield Bash, which is extra damage and pushing the target. Let's see. So I've already got another shield bearer named Miracle. Which one did I gave her Blacksmith's Grace. So I want to try out as many things as I can. So let's give her the other one. Let's give her Shield Bash. And then it looks like Prudence gained a trait. I think these are just assigned randomly as characters level up. So she's gains XP more slowly now, but her critical damage is up by 10%. Okay, cool. I don't think there's anything I can do about that except just recognizing that it's there. And I think Constance might have leveled up too, but maybe didn't unlock anything. Yeah, so I think she's up at level 3 now, but her next unlock is at 5, so whatever. So yeah, so basically the way this works, and I want to get onto some other games, and so I'm not going to spend a little bit, much more time on Othercide, but that is the experience and sort of the tactics of playing through one of the battles. But yeah, so basically I need to fight 2 battles in this area before I can advance, and eventually when I feel like I'm ready, I can confront the boss and try to beat the boss. Inevitably, all my characters are going to get killed. And at some point, I can decide. So next day is what you do when you're done doing everything in this current stage of the game. You want to move on and progress to the next set of missions. Next recollection means you get... basically, you start the game over, start the run over completely from scratch, but you get this resource. I think they're called shards. And shards are what you use to unlock some of these remembrances, these overall bonuses here. These are kind of like, I don't know, legacies in State of Decay 2. So basically, the sort of the overarching meta of the game is you play until you're like, I can't win anymore with this particular run. Then you hit this button, you get that resource, and then you can spend that resource on making your entire team more powerful next time through. And that's sort of the roguelike structure that it follows. So... yeah, so that's Othercide. I'm really fascinated by it. I intend to keep playing a bunch of it, and it's really interesting seeing how in the wake of the success of XCOM, how many different teams have tackled just the basic idea of this kind of turn-based tactical game. With sort of a roguelike structure and stuff like that. And just how different each of the takes on this game is. It was tradition back in the 90s to refer to games in, when a game established a new genre and then other games followed after it, you'd call those games clones. And so you could, using that parlance, call this an XCOM clone, but it's really not because of just the number of different weird innovations that they come up with. And also just this art style. I mean, like I said, it makes my little 90s gothy heart go pit-a-pat. So catching up with the chat a little bit. Chimera Gaming showed up and said, hello, I'm a big fan of State of Decay 2. I really enjoyed that game a lot. Awesome job. Thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Of course, as one of the developers, when I look at it, all I can see is the flaws. But we're working on that. Luckily, our corporate overlords have given us permission, basically, to keep supporting this game so far indefinitely. And so we'll get to keep working on State of Decay 2 into the future, which is going to be really nice. Ranithcord says, I've been playing Dicey Dungeons quite a bit since I watched you play it on the stream. It's gotten quite hard, so I miss that sort of meta upgrade system. Yeah, that is a challenge when you're coming up with roguelike style games. It's like there's sort of like 2 different mindsets that people have about how this game should work. Some feel like you should be able to win the game the very first time you play, and it's just your skill at the game that increases over time. And other folks are like, it's really satisfying to sort of to have a meta where you can gain additional upgrades, and the game can go from being very simple to being very complex over time as you're introducing new elements to the game. And I definitely I really like the version of it where that Slay the Spire does, which is kind of a split down the middle of that, where you can win the game with your very first run if you want to. I mean, there's nothing, you don't get more powerful with multiple runs. But what they do is they start introducing new cards and new other, new relics and stuff like that, which don't make the game easier, but they make the game more interesting and more complex, so you still have that meta where it's you can learn new strategies and it expands over time. The experience gets more interesting over time. And maybe some of the more powerful strategies do involve some of those later cards, but they're not necessary. It's not like the power level of the game. It's like you have to be so ridiculously good at it in order to win with the basic stuff. So yeah, I could see it kind of going both ways. But Raneth Cord, definitely, whenever I've played a roguelike style game that didn't have those kinds of upgrades, eventually, it's like if you're just not good enough at the game, you just gotta quit. And so I think that's, you can definitely understand the motivation why some teams are like, you know what, we're going to give people these upgrades that make them more powerful over time, so that basically everyone has hope that they can eventually win the game. And then the question is, are you going to be someone who wins it early or someone who wins it late? But everyone has a sense that, well, eventually I'll be able to do this because eventually I'm going to get more powerful, and it'll work. That kind of hope is actually really, really useful for motivating people to get into your game and stay with it. So Wolfo78, I'll finish with your comment. I'm definitely looking this game up after the stream. If you play more of this game, make sure it's on the stream because I'm interested in watching you play more of it. Okay, yeah. So there's other games that I want to get onto now, but if as I play, this game gets increasingly interesting and there's more to say about it, I'll totally come back to the stream and play it. Or the other thing that I often do is I'll get really into a game on the stream, but there are so many other games coming out that eventually it falls off my radar. That could also happen with this game. It's kind of maybe 1 in 10, 15, 20 games that I play actually end up becoming favorites of mine that I either play all the way through or add to my life as a hobby. And so I don't know for sure if this one's going to be in that category, but I will definitely find out. So let's wrap this up and move on to a different game. Othercide. It's a pun. Because the enemies are called others and you're killing them, so it's Othercide. But it's also the other side of the veil.